Where's that?
Transfer station.
We'll be choking quite a bit anyway by all the assessments.
Send it over.
Okay, so we're good to go.
This must be this.
Where's our audience tonight? I don't know. I don't think we're really discussing anything contentious.
Is this gonna be a short meeting or what?
Well, we got to finish the CIP.
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna be a short meeting.
No, we're budget cutters tonight,
Okay.
big time. Okay?
All right, let's start the meeting at 6:30. This is January 18th, 2024. This is the meeting of the Webster Planning Board. Let's go around the table and take attendance. Oh, Marlo's here.
All right, I think we got one more
We
pass.
gotta need a chair.
Oh, no, I can sit. Oh, yeah, we do need a chair.
Yeah, we
Nice,
do.
Russell.
You want the
You
comfy
know,
one
I
or
was
the
just
uncomfy
here,
one?
I was just here on Monday.
Everybody's here.
Wow. All right.
Oh, there must be.
Oh, do I get to come between you two?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right, sorry. Buffers. The time went away.
Okay, we're gonna go around taking attendance.
Yeah.
Hi, Teresa Fenimore.
Susan Youngs.
Craig Fournier.
Marlo Herrick.
Adam Mock?
Paul King. Barbara Corliss.
We have a full house here. Okay, 2024 CIP. You wanna do any presentation here?
So I would just want to, I put the list of, I put everything in the little chart we give the select board. And some of the numbers were still from last year, so I just wanted to go through it and make sure that the numbers were correct that we wanted to do for the next few years. So, and also we never really stabilized on what we wanted to do with the transfer station. So I put an updated chart with the transfer station information and what the big purchases are coming up.
Where did this transfer station info come from?
That was submitted months ago, so that was submitted in the packet probably in the last 2 packets ago.
Okay, so we don't have any.
Yeah,
We don't have.
so it's
any-
not any new information,
Okay, so it's not any.
but I just put it into the chart so you could see it.
Yeah.
And we only really planned out until this year, we didn't plan further than that, so I thought that was, but if you want, I could just go down the list. Most of the stuff doesn't really change, which is like the medical equipment, we usually put 6,000 in every year, that's for defibrillators and stuff like that. The air packs, we always put into 20,000 because we have to replace them every year. We did discuss the emergency apparatus and decided to go up to 112,000, so I put that in. The mobile communications, just the radios. Fire department total, that's just the total. The cruiser we discussed, we were gonna do 22,000 because they were gonna purchase this year. I think then we're gonna have an issue in 3-ish years when all the cruisers are up to be replaced at exactly the same time. We had that car accident,
Why? Oh, because they're all.
because we had a car accident and they were all the same year. So
Well,
we're
look at
gonna
this
have
way,
to
they're
figure
not really
out,
running full-time, so we should
we
have
might be able to space them out. We'll have to work with the
not
chief
enough
on that
people in the
one.
seats.
The big one that is the road stuff, the road preservation, and the highway and road fund, and the bridge and culvert. Considering one of the things with the bridge and culvert is that the federal government agreed to do Clothespin Bridge Road on their dime. So we have kind of a surplus in that one, because a lot of the money that we're expected to be pulled out for that bridge is not gonna be pulled out now. So maybe we wanna take a look at that total and see if we wanna lower that.
Well, I mean, if that money doesn't get used, what happens to it?
It just carries over.
It just stays in the fund
Right.
until we need it.
Yeah.
But we don't really have any upcoming bridge projects in the foreseeable future.
That's
And
my
I mean,
question.
and like, cause we talked to, I think it was between Webster and Boscawen, is that the bridge up near Long Street? Yeah, they talked about that one, that one's in good condition, so, and that's the only, the really other bridge we have. And then there's the Pond Hill culvert that's been discussed, but I think we discussed that on Monday with the select board.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like we're, as a town, we're very
No.
responsible for that.
For that one.
I wouldn't think so, it's a private road, right?
Right, I found
Right.
an agreement from
Yeah.
1985. So the discussion of the West Wind Village, I think is what it's called, was discussed, and Robert Austin petitioned the select board to lay out a portion of it as a class 6 road, and the town agreed to do that on the condition that Robert Austin and his heirs would maintain that bridge and that culvert in perpetuity, and we have that signed agreement.
So we're
I-
off the hook on that.
Well, it's not recorded, it's just a signed agreement
Well,
between
but-
Robert Austin and the town's attorney. And that's all we really have on that.
I think what some of their concern is that they don't wanna see any, oh God, I'm gonna be lost for my words. Meaning they don't wanna see all the stuff go into they don't wanna see the culvert
Right.
collapse. Not, cause mainly the people that are most worried about it are the lake association, because they're worried that it might get contaminated. Yeah, that was
Right, and once
what I was
again,
looking
it's
for.
a class 6 road, the town has made it aware that we can only perform maintenance on it because it's an emergency lane, but it can't be to directly benefit anybody, specific lot owners, and I feel like it's a hard sell to say that culvert doesn't directly benefit the people of West Wind Village, rather than the whole town. 'Cause I don't, other than the lake. And there are other ways to make sure the lake doesn't get
But don't you think that that was the big reason it was being brought to us, is they were worried that there might be a malfunction in the culvert, and they're worried about the lake being contaminated?
They're worried about the lake, but
Yeah.
we might be able to explore other options to make sure the lake stays clear. That
And
would
then
be
we did
less
get
expensive
an
than
estimate
culvert.
cost of, I think it was around 75,000?
75,000, that was just for
Culvert.
materials in the culvert, it had nothing to
And the
do with the
engineering.
work. The actual road work performed, which would probably be about equal to the cost of the materials.
So,
in the
yeah,
culvert.
you're talking like 150,000.
Yeah,
Just rough estimate of the, yeah.
Okay, so, after all you've talked about, I'm not hearing of any more bridges that we need. To add any more money, we have $355,000 in there.
I think that's even more at this point, because I believe we funded it, and in the packet.
Oh, there's another 75,000 in 2023.
Did I think I included a chart on page 1, which includes what the current balances are as of January.
Okay,
I believe
here
it's
we go.
supposed to be as of December, but there's still the balances this month, because we haven't added any more. And you should see the bridge, I
Oh,
think I
no, it
highlighted
says
it.
355,000.
Probably had more than
Well,
that.
that's nice to have that buffer in
It is, but do we need to add more? That's my question.
there. More?
Yeah.
Why would we have more?
Well,
That's my
that's what,
question.
that's what
I
was
think we
proposed
need
on
to be
here.
It's
conservative,
right
Take it off.
here.
right?
I think right
And-
now,
Bridges and
If we
culverts,
got
we're
20,
proposing
then-
75,000 more. This thing.
I think bridges are expensive, but I think 75, for me, I don't think you need that much, because the next bridge project's probably more and less 10 to 15 years down the line. Hopefully. Knock on wood that something doesn't happen.
So given we're gonna be on the hook for more transfer station that we want to choke on, how
Yeah.
about we move that money over there?
You can't-
So how much do you want to
Oh,
cut
well,
out
no,
of
I'm
that?
just saying not to fund
You-
more of the
we-
bridge and culvert, but yeah.
So,
Put it
Stop,
on
Is
the-
it- wait a
we'll stop it and then take that money and put it toward,
towards
Transfer.
transfer station.
Transfer.
so you
Yeah.
want to move
And
all
next
of
year,
that,
take
Yeah.
another look at bridges and culverts.
so all
So-
of it this year.
so what did you say that we're gonna be 12 point something million?
Oh, no, it's on this page right here.
I didn't get that.
It was on the table.
right here,
Oh, I didn't,
the 13,000,
The off-site disposal goes to 12 million. The dewatering and excavation of waste is
Yeah.
1.2. In either direction, it's chokeable amount.
And we don't know how much that's
Well,
going
it's
to be.
a lot of it, well,
100%.
first and foremost, we're actually supposed to go, we're going Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
We don't- yeah, I was just,
Well, no, go ahead, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, we don't have 100% certain numbers on that yet.
Yeah.
because-
No, right, that, yes, but they're also, part of what we do on Monday is we're looking at finalizing the agreement,
Right.
which is just pretty much
Should
the
I have
agreement
one
between
of
the two
those?
towns. And then I'm not sure the exact terminology, then we're probably gonna talk a little bit about, the tipping fees and what money is going to be needed, correct? We're supposed to, but we haven't seen any of that yet. It's kind of one of those preliminary, you keep hearing the, you know, you know, when the town manager says it's like 3 million something thousand to clean everything up, and so I don't know if there's gold they're putting in the little packet, but you know, but anyways, and then they want new equipment. That's gonna be the other big
Yeah,
part.
they need new baler for one thing.
Yeah, I've accounted for all that in this chart, I can give this one a headache.
I don't think you actually got one.
Is that this guy?
Oh, this
The big
thing
one.
right here, that's what,
I thought somebody found one.
yeah.
Because there should have been one more of these.
This is our,
So how much money do we
our
have in there
portion.
right now?
So I think we have like 70,000 in there right now. But some of that is because this carryover, because they haven't
This is
purchased
what
one of the
these
trailers
things
yet.
that we're gonna try to have
Okay, and that's not
come
coming
up
up.
with.
by June.
It's
Next year?
supposed to be last year, and then we're purchasing another one next year. So last year's trailer, I don't know if it's been purchased yet, I don't think so.
Okay,
And this year, we have another trailer that they're purchasing.
So,
so this year we're gonna get whacked with how much?
From what it looks like, I updated, it's $27,500. And then the
Okay,
year after that's 37, and another 28, and another 40,
37.5 in 2025,
yeah.
yeah.
and that's not including the lagoons.
Right,
And we have 70,000 balance in the.
about.
Yeah.
So, before we move it,
Happy to
let's
hear.
go back and talk about you wanted to move 75,000, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking we don't need to fund the bridges, we could
Yes.
put it into,
Do you wanna make a motion and we'll vote on that?
by all means. I make a motion that we do not fund the bridges and culverts reserve account this year and instead transfer the 75,000 to the transfer station reserves.
Second.
Any discussion?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, it
And that's
passes.
just for this year, and we don't wanna make any idea of what we are doing going forward for that.
We don't know enough to go forward.
Right, we better
Well,
just take one
generally,
to a time, right?
we put
1 year
this-
to a time to see where we're at.
I put this in the CIP because
Oh,
generally the
okay.
Central New Hampshire Planning Commission looks at it, and if they say there's grants available, they'll look at this first to see if, what we're putting in those funds.
You
and
mean
what the
to
projects
match,
are.
to like match, you mean?
Right, so they look at our projects that we have in the CIP and they go, oh, that's something we have grant money for, and they go, okay, so we're gonna contact the town and say, we have a we think we can fund that, help you fund that. So that's why I'm trying to get the road projects and the bridge projects into the CIP, so we know.
Yeah.
But are we better off to maybe overestimate? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying, I just
Did I
would
say
like
that
to
out
get
loud?
numbers in there from 25 to 29 about what we think. I mean, we can always change it next year,
We're talking now about
the future.
the
So do we wanna
the
continue doing
recycling
this for
station,
the,
right?
yeah, we're still on the bridge and culverts.
And we're just talking about after 2024.
After
In
2024,
other
do
words,
we
do we
wanna
keep
continue
doing-
moving it for the next foreseeable future?
Heck, no, I don't know what's gonna happen
We,
next year.
we'll just talk about that next year,
Yeah.
right?
Let's
I
leave,
think that's
let's
right.
leave the future ones at 75.
I
Leave the
think we'd
future
be
ones
smart
at
that way.
75. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know what's gonna
Yeah.
All
happen.
right, so
All right.
let's.
Actually, that makes it really clear that we are moving exactly that amount to exactly this account.
Okay.
So,
Makes it, so if they've got questions about why are we not funding it this year, you can see why.
all right. So
We'll
you're
go
gonna
down.
make a motion here.
I made a motion.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
all,
Now, if we're keeping it the same,
and
we
we-
don't need another motion, we'll
Right.
just keep it the same.
Yeah,
we're good,
we're fine.
All
I
right,
think so.
okay.
yeah.
We changed
Okay.
it for next year. All right, and then the other thing with this is the highway stuff, so how much do we wanna put in highway?
Highways.
Because last year, the board switched the road preservation to 275, I think it was,
Remember that?
trying to remember.
Right? That sounds right.
Yeah, they funded, they swapped it, cause Emmett wanted to do a project.
And we haven't heard from Emmett about what projects he's got on the books for next year.
Well,
That's hard to get him to.
Yeah, so,
It's always
Right.
hard to get.
so it was highway and roads went up to 275, and roads went to 100.
An estimated cost of this project.
What am I looking at? I'm seeing 375
Right.
every
Well,
year.
before.
Are you looking at?
So that's the
years
bottom
ago, we
line.
had a
Yeah.
highway committee.
So special road
get
projects is
bids
highway and
and
roads.
do it that
It's the
way,
second
and it may
column.
need to
It's right
perhaps
above bridges and
It's probably
culverts,
time.
and then road preservation's on top of that.
to
I
take.
got it, okay,
So we're talking about those two funds.
thank you.
And we were supposed to get a report from the Central New Hampshire
So
Planning
we know.
Commission. I asked them about it last week for an update, if it was ready. And the person who was working on that has COVID, so they're out of the office, so I don't have an update.
God, that's
COVID
another
was in the
person with
past.
COVID. It really is ramping up right now, isn't
It
it?
is.
But then again, I asked it for
It's
it a
different.
couple weeks before that, and it wasn't ready either, so I don't even know if it's ready.
Ah,
So I'm hoping we get it by next year.
What does,
So what do we have, what is he on for this year, as far as how much is he? I know, but it's like, we need to kinda know what we're gonna be doing, in other words, it's a big zero, right?
I don't know.
Well,
But, yeah, because we're kind of moving really fast here. I think one thing at a time, so we got because we wanna fund our roads and our highways correctly, but we don't wanna put money in there where we don't know where it's going.
I know,
And with an estimate cost on different projects. I mean, we got your regular maintenance, you got your plowing, you got your, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can
Consulting,
correct me if I'm
sand,
wrong.
roads,
And then you're gonna have some special projects that need to be done. Maybe, I'm just throwing this out here because of being on the select board. You know, that somebody complained a little bit about Little Hills section. You know, some
Well-
sections or others, I don't know.
that needs to be addressed, that
Right.
hill has got, it should, I hauled firewood up there last year, and that needs to be fixed.
It's
But-
getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it should be after plowing it, I suspect that.
How
that's
do we
it works.
get what,
Potholes
And
now.
account and see where it's
I
been
just don't know how to get, I wanna
Well,
just get
I
to.
So
I
once
don't know
again,
that we
it's-
can without some input from
it's
Emma.
hard.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And without
because
it,
it
we're
comes
just
out of
shooting
the
in the
trust
dark.
I can
So
tell you
all our road
what
work
Emmett
comes out of
has said
trust
in the
fund.
past,
Okay, but can you
He's-
see disbursements?
which may or not be helpful. He says,
So we have
give me the money.
invoices that we can pull
You
in.
know,
Well, of course,
Yeah, but
yes.
that's not how we,
Invoices for
we're,
the
you
last-
It's not
gotta,
acceptable.
right,
I
and
know
the
that.
thing
I
of it
know
is
that.
now, when, after getting our assessments on our houses,
She was talking to
we need to go the other direction a little bit here, because you start, well, like, I'll give you a perfect example,
This is
my house,
why Dave, on the
200,000
select board,
one
wants to
year,
move a lot
John,
of the stuff out of the trust
assessment,
funds into the
don't
regular
have a couch.
operating budget. Cause it'll be easy
Right.
to track. and
Okay,
see.
so I have a
And
problem
use
with
most of this
this.
stuff
And
for special
the
projects.
thing of
like
it
we're
is,
gonna
if we
rebuild
keep
the
going
road,
the way we're
put
going,
that
in
in
3
there,
years'
as opposed to
time,
all
yeah,
the
our
other
tax rate
maintenance
right
that's
now
taken
is
out of
low,
and
but
put
wait
the
till it
regular
starts
operating
going
budget.
Well,
up,
then
and
the
then you
assessment
start
will
that
catch up with
assessment,
you.
well,
Yeah.
of course it will,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, it will catch us next year.
Separate.
It won't be
Right.
no
I
3
think it was
years.
The
put in a
assessment
while
isn't
ago
the problem, the
because
problem is how much money
They
we're
were concerned
spending.
about losing the money.
Well, that's,
He
this
just-
is what I'm
Set that-
saying.
Yeah.
That will set that dollar amount that
Yeah,
you see on your
exactly,
tax
so if you go haywire
Which is a
with what
good
you're
thing.
spending, it's
However,
gonna
now
drive your
exactly.
taxes.
Tell them
Yeah.
what road you take to
And-
what we're talking about.
and
It's all the
people-
same where. We would just like to know. We
People
just-
are upset right now.
I need to know. I feel like I'm just shooting in the dark here about
Yeah,
how much
well-
money do we need for roads?
So
Is
how-
it going to be a critical problem, or we have enough?
How do we,
How much do we normally put in, for example, maintenance?
We do the,
well,
given costs
it's
of a
usually
road?
the 200 and the
without-
100.
everybody-
without input from Emmett, I think we're just gonna have to go with what we've been going in the past.
Do we have any idea how much of that has been spent?
He spends it pretty much down to nothing every year.
Yeah,
So maybe
Yes.
we do need to continue with what we've done.
Yeah, he'll spend
Yeah.
whatever's in there,
Yeah.
because there's always a new project on the roads.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
we
it-
should take
it-
instead, rather than doing new projects, like Little Hill up there, you could go in and shim that and repave it and seal it, and you're gonna get quite a few more years out of that road. And when I was in there, I was the one that redid that, we ground that, they hauled 12 inches of ledge pack from wherever we started to the end of it. And it only had, at that time, they did 2.5-inch single course pavement, and that's all it's got. One course of pavement, that's it, 2.5 inch, that much.
What's weird is that it's only one side that's deteriorated.
This-
Well, good water can,
Water can-
Yeah, that hill needs to be straightened
Yeah.
out, I mean, that's gone, that, when I saw that, it's
Yeah.
like, that should have been fixed a long time ago.
This-
That should have
Little
been-
Hill or Pearson Hill?
Little Hill.
Little
A
Hill.
Little Hill.
yeah.
Should have
And I'm
been-
only going,
It's-
I didn't
it's-
do it.
Should have been
Yes.
shimmed and fixed, that's the way I look at that.
So to be responsible people working on this, what can we do to, and I get where you're coming from, assessments are here, we kept the rate, which we worked very hard at, all of us, here, but, and there's certain things that we need to do, and with, road is probably one of our bigger costs besides the school, correct?
Oh, yeah.
I think
The
road's
school,
probably the
the school is
You can't do
hard.
anything about
No,
that.
the school is not out of our wheelhouse unless you wanna go and fight, like we probably all should, but,
Everybody does and it doesn't help.
yeah,
Right.
right.
So-
But-
Useless.
You're right,
Yeah,
that is
okay.
useless.
So,
Right.
okay, 'cause-
Been there, done that.
okay.
Me too.
So, but with that being said, back to roads and highways, I just feel like we're kinda like kicking the can, and we don't know
Well-
which way to kick the can, because we don't have any information to kick.
I mean, do we
think
have
should just-
any sense that Emmett has done stuff he didn't need to do?
No.
In which case, if
Oh,
he
ho-
spends
ho-
it to zero,
The only thing is, and this is, everybody's got an opinion, right? Sometimes, I think what Addie was trying to say, and you can jump in, please, at any time, certain things you can take to one aspect, and certain things you can take, like what he's saying, is you don't take it as far as sometimes we take it. So, you know, you got a section of road,
Yeah.
and please correct me,
Yeah,
because,
no,
you know,
it's-
you got a section of road and you say, geez, the most costly thing, it might not last another 10 years, but it might last you 5 years. Let's strip, let's grind or whatever, and then resurface and not replace everything in that section of the road. Now, not questioning Emmett, please, I'm not. But with that being said, that may be where we have to have a little bit more conversation to say, okay, we need to at least do something up here, so we can't take this level, this part of the road, and go down to scratch and start over.
It's been there already
Right.
as far as Little Hill goes, so you could fix that hill by shimming it and then, you know, overlay it because it needs it, because it's only got one course, and then seal that thing, and that's gonna last a long time. That's what the
Still,
state
we're going
does.
right back to, what is it gonna cost?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't
but-
know. We're
but
shooting in the
so
dark 'cause we
instead
don't
Well,
of
know.
that's one of the reasons we
reconstructing
want
the
that
whole-
report, because
Yes.
he's gonna provide us with software that shoots out costs when you put that in.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, it's all free, it's
Oh, I
wonderful.
didn't know.
I'm sorry, we are getting that software?
Yeah, it's free.
I
This
didn't
is
know
all.
Oh,
We're not
free is
good-
my
it's-
price.
Yeah, that's why we jumped on it.
So
And I'm
who's
not-
gonna maintain it?
Yeah, what?
Who's gonna input? Who's gonna maintain?
Planning commission or me?
Oh,
Okay, so what are we spending next year for,
That's the bottom line.
is what? What's the bottom line?
What are we gonna spend?
200,000?
Usually it's 200 in road preservation and 100 in highway and roads, but Emmett usually likes that reversed as 200 in highway and roads and 100 in road preservation.
Okay, so there's no reconstruction.
Well, the reconstruction is the highway and roads and
Of
road preservation.
375.
no, that's what's,
No, I look at this on the next page, you got highway and roads total 375.
Right, but
That's
that's
So
the
that's
sum.
all of it?
that's the sum of all three.
That's
that's all of it,
all,
and we've already
everything,
taken
so
out
that's-
75.
200, so what's that? So you took 275 out, so you
We took 75 out.
75 out, so you're at 200. So we cut back
So now it,
2024.
Did I hear you say that Emmett wants to reverse the 200 and 100?
He usually likes it the other way around.
Okay, so 200 for special road projects and 100,000 for maintenance. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's what he likes.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But I think in the absence of fact, best we can do is just say, carry on. This is what we've got, this is what we've been doing.
we're not gonna raise it.
We don't know whether we need more or less, so just, unless it's really going to hurt the budget overall.
It's
we'll just
really
keep
hard
that
to
the
pin down. I mean, I think he does a great job, but, you know.
He does, but the job's not
paperwork
done
and
till the
planning is
paperwork's
not
finished.
his forte.
All right.
So the maintenance of the highways in all of this is gonna be a total of
300,
300,000.
300,
not 375 on this.
that is right.
correct.
Because we moved 75 into.
Oh, two, right, because we moved the bridge and
To the
culverts.
transfer
To the
station.
transfer station.
So he's plowing the roads and doing everything for 300,000.
Yep,
That's what we got. So it's not 375, it's 300.
And whatever we get from the highway block grant.
And
Yeah,
How
don't-
much
yeah.
is that?
Fluctuates, but it's usually, I think, about $30,000 or $40,000.
Okay,
I thought there was another 125 that.
Is it another? I have no idea what it is.
But I
I
am
didn't think
totally,
it was
and I'm
that
not the
much.
best memory
I was
person.
thinking it was like 125.
Okay,
Is it?
somebody write down that I remember that.
Just-
125 grand.
Yes,
Yeah,
of a high rate.
So
grant.
that, when you add that on top of
He
it.
gets, well, not he,
well,
the
he gets
road,
it, he gets it every year,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
I'm pretty sure
that's
it's
for
on,
special
but-
projects. Usually.
In addition to what the town appropriates. yeah.
Right.
so I have a question.
Sure.
Can I talk about transfer station or not?
So we're not there yet? If
Okay.
you want to hold the question, or if you can't remember.
I'll
we'll
hold,
talk
no, I
again.
can remember.
So do we need, let's wrap this up with highways and roads. Do we wanna do anything different here?
Well, yeah, I think I heard him say that he wants to swap the 200 and 100.
Yeah,
So it would
and I can confirm that with
be-
Yeah.
Emmett before we do it, but I just,
Special
As long
road
as the total
projects would
is
be
the same.
200,
yeah,
and then maintenance would be 100.
yeah.
And where does the grant fall usually, under special projects?
That goes in the budget.
It's separate line item.
It's in the regular budget.
so if we're getting 100 and a quarter plus the 300, that's 4 and a quarter. Is that correct?
Right.
So why do we need that much?
He'll
You'd have to
spend
talk
it.
to Emmett.
Well,
It's, we could do away with a little bit of our side of it if we're getting 100 a quarter.
But do we
Extra.
get that every year?
It should.
Yeah, so it
I think
doesn't,
Paul's
Yeah.
right, that's what
That's
I
all.
remember.
we're
Yeah.
basically
It's all
level
up to the
funding.
taxes. and what we
Yes.
get.
We're level funding projects and maintenance. So, we're not raising it.
As long as it's not raising the taxes.
Yeah.
If it
Alright.
starts raising the taxes, then I'm gonna hold my ground. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
No.
So do we make a motion just to leave it as,
I don't think you need a motion,
Okay.
we're just leaving it as is.
Leave it as is.
Public
that's what
safety,
we'll come up with, just leave it.
just leave it. That's
Public
fine.
safety, what is,
So that's just been 5,000, and it's just the same one as town hall, that's if something breaks, like window breaks or something like that, it comes out of that fund.
Out of which one?
Public maintenance.
Oh, okay.
So it's like if a door breaks, you know, you replace the door with the public maintenance fund.
Is there
Put some tape on it.
what's the current balance?
Question?
gotta look at the previous page.
Should be right on the end of the day.
No, that's how much
Oh,
we're
wait a minute.
appropriating. I'm
Oh,
looking for what's the
safety building,
balance in the
61.
Would you
reserve
just save on
account.
paper doing this double-sided crap?
Oh, okay, okay.
So public safety building, there's 61,298.
Oh, there it
and
is, okay. Oh,
Town
wow.
hall, there's 27,000.
That's a roof, so, yeah, 5,000, I'm comfortable with that.
Yep. And then if we're good with that one, we can move to the next one, which is the general improvements for town hall, which we usually put 5,000 in that as well. And one of the things in that fund you should take into account is that the money for painting town hall's been in there for a while, and we still haven't painted. And we have that issue with the peeling paint,
Yeah.
and we don't know if we're gonna have to replace, because Dana's been looking for somebody to check the moisture in the walls, and can never find anybody to come and do it. But we wanna make sure we check that out before we put any paint on it. We also use that fund if because we have trees that we need to remove that are around the building. One has already fallen on the building. And we removed a couple this year. We usually remove 2 a year, because it's really what we can afford. And going from there. And then we have some ADA projects that need to get done as well. Have a sink that needs to be replaced, and I think we need a handicap rail in the hall downstairs.
Is the math all calculated on the computer, or is it somebody does it?
Right, you didn't ask for any money in this fund because we believe what we have is
Well, I'm
adequate.
getting that, the town hall building, 5,000 every year, for a total of 25, that should be 30.
I might have cut down a column when I did the spreadsheet,
You're correct.
so I might have to fix the spreadsheet, so you
Wait,
could be correct.
5, 10, 15, 20, oh wait, I'm in the wrong line.
The formula might have just got cut off, so I'd have to fix the formula.
Yeah, so.
Because what I do is I delete a column and then I add a column.
Here's what it is, it's that, if you add 5, it should be 30, not 25.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just
yes,
missing-
oh, right
It's
down
just
here.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's just, I think it's just an issue with the
That's why I asked if
spreadsheet.
the computer does the
So
math
just
or
change
if
the
someone has to
formula.
actually do the math.
Yeah. Question.
If you
I don't
change
think
the
the 2030 total is really
to
relevant.
I-28 instead of
It's too far out.
sorry.
Yeah, and it's never gonna have that much in the account because we
Yeah, by
usually
then.
You spend
No.
it, yeah.
we spend it.
Well, because we do have to get this painted and.
And the trees, and then we have to, we spend stuff out of that every year because stuff happens. It just does. Like, a tree falling on the building, and then we pull it out to use it. Or we found somebody who did a really good price to clean all the windows up here and fix the windows, which they're all nice now, and the screens are repaired, and, we got a really good price on that.
Very nice.
Well, the guy who did the gutters for like $100 came in and did this for like $200. So it's
Wow.
not bad.
Does he need my address?
So,
Yeah, I
We
want
like
that
that
one's
guy.
name.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find
That's
it.
total.
It is.
Yeah, and like I said, it's because I delete one column, I delete the oldest column, and then I insert a new column, so that's my fault. I'll
It's
go
fine,
and
Russell.
fix it.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we're
what's
okay.
All
next?
right, and then we have the office equipment and the technology fund. The technology, I think we upped last year to account for the new server, when we eventually have to purchase a new server, because the server, I think, is gonna cost like $40,000 in like 4 or 5 years. And then we also have to account for buying new equipment such as computers and stuff like that. And a lot of the computers are starting to die in the office. We just had a computer's motherboard give out this week, and that was my computer's. So, and that thing was 8 years old. So that's one computer to be replaced, so that's $1,000 right there.
You're scaring me. Mine's 8 years old.
It
Yeah,
depends. I think we use our computers a lot. They're mostly on all the time.
All
That
the time,
computer was
yeah.
on all the time because the assessors would remote into that computer to use it at home or wherever they were to do that work. So
Well,
they
we
get a
had
lot
the
of
conversation about the office computers and everything like 2-3 months ago, right?
Right.
That's when we set these dollar amounts.
Yeah, and then we did
thought so.
last year to count for the server, and I think that's adequate. And then we have the office equipment line, and we're still waiting, so if you look at the fund, we're still waiting to replace our current server, because it still hasn't been replaced. We were talking about doing that when I got here. But we're trying to eke as much life out of it as we possibly can.
Thank you.
The totals are off there too, so.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay,
Oh, I'm getting
okay.
beat
No,
up.
no, you're not.
No, it's fine,
As
it's
long
fine,
as you
it's
know.
Russell, go downstairs and come back with it
All
right.
right.
The
and then
earlier
the-
parts are fine, the yearly amounts.
And the other office equipment line is for like printers, chairs, stuff like that. And we are replacing the copier this year because that copier is giving out, and we're gonna have to replace a couple printers too. Because my printer doesn't work anymore. And I have to print, I'm about to have to print the inventories, and I don't think it's gonna make it through 5. Because it jams every single time.
Ugh.
So much.
Don't send it.
I tried that, they told me no.
It isn't fun when those don't work, I will say that.
Are there any other discussion on the town
No,
buildings?
And then there's the hard nut to crack, which is the transfer station.
I was just, so what's on there now is that we were gonna do, the proposed was 42, so now with that 75, we're up to what, 117?
117, yep.
Okay, and there's 70,000 in reserves, right?
Yep.
And did I understand you to say that they did not buy the trailer this year, they're doing it next year?
No, they said they haven't bought it yet.
They haven't bought it yet. Okay, so the 25,000 earmarked for 2023 is going to be spent,
Just
just
going to be spent.
not yet.
And then,
So we're looking at 27.5.
I'm also
next-
looking at that, and I'm thinking that fund's too high. I wanted to ask Dana about it, but he'd already left for the day.
You think 70,000's too high?
I think, I'm wondering what other expenses haven't been pulled out of it, because I remember last year we didn't have enough money to cover everything, and we had to scramble to put money into the
That's right.
funds. And now it seems like we have a surplus of funds in there, so I'm wondering what hasn't been pulled out
Which one,
yet.
what are we talking, which one are we talking about?
So I'm
Transfer station fund
thinking
balance.
we
Oh.
haven't gotten the bill for the year yet from Hopkinton.
So maybe that 70,000 is going to be serious. What was on the
Seriously
schedule for
impacted.
last year? Do you remember? Was that the Baylor?
Last year was a trailer, And I think it was a baler, I think so. I deleted that column out, so I don't know. But I know it probably was the baler, because the baler isn't listed in the future. Either of the balers aren't listed. So I think last year was the baler.
Wasn't there another one though? Because we added 40,000 last year.
Right.
And that was to get it up to where we needed to go, and I think we were going to be empty
They go looking at.
by the
Yes.
time they spent that.
Right, that's why I'm wondering, I wanted to ask Dana about it, because he would
So
know.
maybe that balance is really about zero.
I think it's about 0.
So adding
Negative.
75,000 is
A good idea.
a very good idea.
Well,
The one,
75
the
plus the
75 that
40,
you took, yeah.
plus the
The
40,
two from
plus the
Bridges.
42 that's on here already?
42.
75 plus the 42.
So we
That's
already
less
agreed to do
Where's the
42 this year.
42?
Well, this is what's proposed on this sheet.
That was what was talked about last year, was 42 was last
And we
year.
just
Looking at
we just
3
added
pages.
another 75, so the question is, are we doing that 117 or?
Or are we just doing 75?
Well, I understood that we voted for 75,000. We're just pulling it from one place, sticking it in this. And my biggest concern is that the 70,000 that's on the fund balance sheet
It's already gone.
is already gone.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and if that is gone, then here is a $27,500 expenditure that is gonna eat into that 75,000.
Right. And then
And
you
we
get
still
another
have
27, and then you
the
get,
1 point whatever million.
and then you get another 37.5 the next year right after, so.
Yeah,
So we'll have to take the 75 next year. Put it toward it.
Cause we
if
still
we had
have
any
the
bridges to do, then we
42.
could.
Well,
So, but
Yeah.
the question is, are we not doing the 42 that was already on the list for 2024? Are we only doing the 75?
I would say we have to do the 42.
Because what's
too.
on here already is 42.
I think
I think we have to do the
I would
42.
split it just to 100. They take 25 of that 42 and make it an even 100 on there.
74 is 11, knocks off 11,000 bucks.
good idea.
17,000.
You always like to say that.
Why would that?
What's our
I'm
overall
tight.
budget total? Is 11,000 going to make a real big difference?
So,
We're gonna set 11
It
goals.
may hurt worse next year when we don't have that 11,000 and this bill comes in.
so,
Well, that was the other thing, we wanted to plan
would
for
you,
that
would
too.
you do me a favor?
I'm
and
sorry,
just
yes.
recoup what you said?
Oh, the 75,000 plus the 42 on here comes up to 100,
117.
111,000, yeah, somewhere in there, and he's saying 100,000 even. So I'm saying 11,000, I mean, why don't we just keep it there? Because next year is going to be worse.
Yeah.
I would just.
Well,
keep
then-
it at 11. Or where would we put the 11? I mean, granted, like, probably plenty
Oh,
of
we
places.
just, we've already got 42,000.
No, but if we kept the 11 and put it somewhere.
It was 17, actually.
Reduce the
Yeah,
taxes.
17.
Yeah, 17.
That's what Addie wants to see.
Well, I know, I don't disagree.
So we're suggesting
Me
for
either.
the next few years to move that 75
Thank you.
down into the transfer station fund.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to before it's all over and done with by the looks.
Moving the bridge and culvert stuff from the
Right,
transfer
to
station. for
the
foreseeable
transfer,
future.
cause it's
And
like
just
we're
add
gonna
it-
be in trouble here.
To what's here.
Yeah,
Which
I
before,
think we should. I do.
okay. Do we wanna get a motion for the next few years to keep doing that, or do we just wanna?
Just
Can we
this
just do
year.
it again
Just
next
this
year?
year.
Just
And
this
then
year.
we'll do it again? Okay.
My crystal ball is broken. I can't tell you what's going to happen in 2025.
Right.
I'm just pestering you because I wanna get
Let's
the
just
numbers
do
in my
it for this
boxes
year.
filled out.
but leave the 17 there.
So it's gonna be
Yeah, just
117.
leave it as
Gonna be
is,
Leave
and
the 44 and add
leave
75.
that 42
And add the
and
72.
add the 75 to it.
Which is
If we're
117.
short,
117.
yeah, so we'll do that for this year.
And then
And
worry
that way
about
it's
next
just
year.
moving it from one spot to the other. It will help out the transfer station money. And then we'll worry about next year when
Next
it
year.
hits.
Could you explain something you said earlier about who's looking over your shoulder on what we're projecting out?
It's the
The,
Central New Hampshire Planning Commission. So
And will that like raise red flags or something if we have 117,000 this year and 9 next?
Well, I don't know. They don't tell us what to do. They just look at it and see if they can fund stuff for us or help us with it.
But if you had, I think what I was wondering the last time is there kind of a formula to that? Like, oh, look at that town, they've got plenty of money in that budget, so we only need to do
What they
this.
look at is two separate parts. If the average project's available, they will look at it to see if towns have stuff in their plans to match it. The other part is if we have a project and we want to apply for funding, you lose points if it's not already in your CIP.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard you say.
Okay.
Points, what does that mean? Who knows, but.
So, well, the
It might
points
not get
means
as
if
much
you have,
money,
go for the grant
right?
application, they'll say, there's a certain percentage awarded if you had already planned for this project. It's not a spur of the moment thing. And if it's a spur of the moment thing because they had funding available, they're less likely to award it to a town than a town that had this expense on the books for years.
Is this a matching grant type of a program? So do we need to have money in the sitting
Usually
here?
they are. Usually most grants are usually matching.
Matching grants, so we need to have money in
The
the
fund.
savings account anyway.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Transfer station doesn't have anything on for 2025 next year.
Well, they do.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think you have this one, Matty.
It's
Oh, okay.
37.5.
All right, so that's even more than what.
It's this one, Andy.
yeah,
He doesn't
Yeah,
have
but
that
I
one.
didn't.
37.5 for 2025.
Oh, okay, over here, I was looking at the planned
Yeah, I was
years.
looking at this one here
Yeah.
also, that one says
So we're
nine.
not moving the 75 every year, we're only moving it that one year.
Well, that's what the
For now.
consensus seems to be for now.
We might
until-
decide to do it again next
Until we
year.
got more answers on what's going on with the,
The roads
well, and the transfer station.
but it does, to me, kind of where they will match funding with something that we just really have a wicked unknown of, which is the transfer
Which
station.
is the transfer.
Right, when you say
Exactly,
that's the
so you find
biggest thing,
that.
so I think the best bet is to leave
Yeah.
all the money that we just decided on, the 42 and the 75, because that may help us in the long run, is what I'm hearing.
Remember, the select board's gonna look at your recommendations on Monday and probably make a bunch of changes too, so.
We are.
We usually do.
You're our spokesperson on this
Oh my
issue.
God.
The dump's gonna
And then you
cost
go
a
to
lot
the
of
public
money.
hearing with it, and changes usually happen after the
Well,
public hearing.
I think the big thing with I think, yes, everything costs money, everything is worthy of being, funded. Just, I do think the transfer station is our most unknown situation that you can't, and that's probably in some sense fortunate, we're only 25% of that
Right.
transfer
Right.
station, right? So,
And worst case scenario, you plan for the worst, it ends up better, you still have money to cover the bailers and the
yeah.
other stuff that's coming up anyway.
Cause when we were listening to when Dan, I think, who's kind of in charge of that,
He is.
you know, he was just saying how, the things that are wrong and how old everything is. And, I mean, we have to preserve a lot, don't we, Addie? But, you know,
Yeah.
we don't wanna go backwards either.
Alright, so we're good with that? And I would call that CIP concluded.
Oh,
Yay!
we're to the end?
That's
Exciting.
Now we can move to the next item, which is an easy one.
Well, thanks for your work on this.
Oh, it's fun. But remember, when
It better be right.
when everybody yells at me, when everybody yells at me in August for saying we gotta get working on this, don't yell at me.
Would we yell at you?
So we're not ready to talk about that yet.
Like first year
come
we
on.
did this, took us the whole summer
Okay.
to get.
And you know what held us up all summer? Roads. Emmett, yeah, and we're right back there again. Maybe we need a road committee, you know, or maybe that software
used
is
to
gonna
have
give
one.
us this information we need
Well-
to make financial decisions about the roads,
The plan.
a plan.
Well, in anything that, any of us, in every day and age, you have to have some kind of budget to work with. Right, wrong, or indifferent, but how are we, I always say, if we don't have the knowledge,
We don't.
how do you make a decision? And that's not a good place for us to be fiscally responsible, because that's what we're putting ourselves into for the town.
Roads are mission critical. Police don't get there, fire don't get there, loggers don't get there if the roads don't work. So they are the mission critical thing. We're flying blind. You know, nobody gets to work if the roads aren't working.
That's correct, but the thing of it is, we don't need freeways. You know what I'm saying? You can, you
Who's
stop
putting a
and.
freeway in Webster?
No, I'm just saying that you can go and you could do a lot with a lot, as far as like, not completely going in and rehabbing it. You could take and
Oh,
shim
yeah.
it and pave it and seal it.
I know, but
That chip
sometimes
seal
you
that
end up just
Emmett
kicking the
did.
can down the road.
Well,
You know,
yes,
you do
but
a
I
little bit of
mean,
maintenance, and
look
then
at
you
the,
end up with
look,
a big
look
repair
at the
job
state.
somewhere down.
State does the same thing, 127. You drive on that.
Let's move on to our next
Yeah,
item.
I think we're gonna rename that Pleasant Street to Pleasant Street Freeway.
What, 127?
No, Pleasant Street.
It is a freeway. After, I mean, the cars go like
They do,
100.
they fix it up and they just
You
go
want to
fast.
go down by my house on 127?
Yeah, oh, I know.
Well, we
You
should
can't
keep
cross
it
the
on.
road.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry I digressed.
Coming
here.
over that
Okay,
over the hill.
we are
you-
done with the CIP? Yep.
Yep.
May I be
Yeah.
excused?
Yes, be excused.
Thank you.
So the next one was just that one warrant article that's remaining on there, which is the one that allows me to adjust the table of contents if stuff lines up in the,
I may make a motion to approve the,
thought we
I
did
got the
this
language and
before.
stuff right here if you wanna read it
I
over.
guess
There you
I
go.
didn't
He just wants to be able to adjust some things that we
I
have to
thought we
make
did this
a.
one
That is,
before.
it seems like it's, you shouldn't even have to ask
No.
us for permission to do
Can
this.
you tell
but-
him?
You have to ask the
yeah,
town
I'm gonna
Yeah.
read
permission
that,
to do
so
it.
let's see what he's.
Like, I got this from NHMA, said you can't adjust it without the town giving us permission to adjust the table of contents.
Okay.
And this gives us Tim to ability to adjust it forever going
Here's
forward.
what the proposed planning board warrant article says. The planning board voted on January 18th, 2024 today, after holding a public hearing in November 16th, 2023, to put forward the below warrant article for town vote. The planning board recommends this warrant article, blah, blah, blah. The planning board has authority to assign such section numbers to the zoning ordinance as may deemed appropriate, provided that no substantial changes to the ordinance shall occur as a result of this renumbering. So,
Second.
Is there any questions, discussion?
That was quick.
Done.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
And the board recommends it
The board recommends it.
unanimously, everybody does. And then I need you all to sign that.
All of us. I thought we did this before.
We did.
Nope, we didn't. We did it to the public hearing, but this is,
Doing it now.
so just sign it under the planning board section. And then I hand it to the town clerk, and then she signs it and dates it when she got it, and then I give a copy to the select board.
See ya.
And then we put it on
Aye.
Bye, Barbara.
for a vote.
Bye, Barbara.
Bye.
See you the next time.
I'll be here.
And the last thing is
We all
minutes.
sign it?
Yeah. Right on the right.
What's the next one?
Minutes.
Did everybody read the minutes?
I wasn't here.
Yes, you get to say.
Was
It was about
anybody
Mrs.
here last time?
Mr. Evans was here.
No, we'll get Marlo and Patty. I move that we approve the minutes from the December meeting.
I'll second. If I can.
Yep,
Yeah.
second.
So we,
Are you all in favor?
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I wasn't here.
It was fine, it was a boring meeting anyway.
Was-
It was fine. It's actually a pretty good meeting.
That was everything, right?
That's it?
Got it dated?
Well, that's what they did, so I just.
Yeah, I can
did.
date it if you want, or you can date it, doesn't
That's
matter.
Russ's.
I always bring a pen. So that's it.
And what were we
Good.
supposed to do that got canceled?
So we have somebody
think I
going
can sign
before
You
the ZBA for a commercial exception for a home business, and we would have had to have done a site review if that case had passed. But since there wasn't a quorum of the ZBA, didn't move forward. This is the second time there wasn't a quorum of the ZBA,
Really?
so that's why we're trying to get members really
Which
bad.
we just swore somebody in.
Correct, and I'm hoping that'll resolve the issue so we can move forward. And then the other one is the Pillsbury Lake Commissioners were coming in to discuss the zoning ordinance in Pillsbury Lake, because they want to get some of the things that were in their HOA to be adopted into the zoning ordinance, so the town will enforce them. And that's what they want to discuss. For example, that chickens aren't allowed over there.
Really?
I
You
don't
know.
chickens?
I don't, yes.
What's, the chickens aren't allowed down there?
No, what's happening is, some of the people are pissed off there because the roosters are crowing.
Nice.
And,
I know. I'm not gonna say-
and, you know, they used to have a homeowners association, that was their business, right? Take care of that, stuff like that. But now, there's no homeowners association, they want us to do it.
No.
There's no homeowners association?
No, they
I
dissolved
know
it
it got disbanded.
because they didn't want to deal with
They
it.
didn't-
When did that happen?
Like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Wow.
And now a lot of things are happening that they don't like over there because they don't have people enforcing it
Well, we
anymore.
shouldn't be police.
Yeah, I agree.
They're on their own.
Yeah.
If I had my way, I'd give them half the budget,
Let's-
let them take
Let's
care of
leave the
themselves.
discussion until
Yeah,
they get
but
it.
they,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, they have to come before us and they
Let's
make
not
their case.
pre-make a
And we
decision
nod our
without
heads.
hearing
Yeah, we
their
can't, we
argument.
have to, I wanna hear the,
Right?
No.
All right, we ready to close the meeting?
yeah, let's
Yeah.
make a motion. Can I
You
make
can make a motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna go hit,
Yeah, turn off
Shut
the,
that thing off.
shut that thing. You got it. Got it, Abby.
You always wanna say goodnight, everyone.